Hey guys, tonight we board a bus you should never ride, a time of year when spirits, storms, and secrets all stir beneath the surface. You'll hear the rain, you'll feel the breath of the forest, you might even see someone who shouldn't be there. But here's the thing, once you start this story, you're already on the road, and you probably won't escape it. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Comment your location, the current time, and what unnerves you most on quiet, rainy nights. Now, extinguish the lights, perhaps turn on some white noise to mask the sounds beyond your window, and let's descend into tonight's journey together. It begins on a suffocating July evening in southern Thailand, the kind where the air sticks to your skin like honey, and you can smell the wet earth long before the rain starts falling. You're at the dusty edge of Nakhon Si Thammarat, waiting beneath a flickering fluorescent light outside a rural bus depot that looks abandoned even when it's open. The last bus of the night, heading east toward the mountain villages, pulls up just as the first gusts of monsoon wind slap across your face. Its headlights cut through the mist, two dull yellow eyes peering into you. You climb aboard, barely making out the outline of the driver behind the smeared glass. He doesn't greet you, just tilts his head, like he's listening to something that isn't you. Inside, the air is thick with mildew and something older. Not rot, not exactly. It's the scent of old paper, bamboo, and rain-warped lacquer. There are maybe 7 or 8 other passengers scattered along the length of the bus. They all sit perfectly still. No talking, no phone lights. One woman cradles a basket, but you can't see what's inside. It shifts once, then goes still. The driver pulls away in silence. No announcement, no check for your ticket. Just motion, slow and deliberate, as the road winds away from the last streetlight and into the jungle's mouth. That's when the rain begins. Not a drizzle, an immediate torrent. Monsoon season here doesn't build, it devours. Rain lashes the windows like claws. The world outside vanishes into black water. You try not to think about how narrow this mountain road is, how often it floods. You try not to think about the driver's blank, glassy eyes in the mirror. The passengers don't blink, not once. At first you assume they're locals used to the weather or maybe asleep. But you look closer and realize no, their eyes are open, just wrong, a little too wide. One girl's mouth is parted like she's about to speak, but the words never come. Her chest doesn't rise, doesn't fall. You look away. You press your hand against the window to ground yourself, but the glass feels hot. Burning almost, as if the bus is moving through something not quite real. A smell creeps in now, jasmine. Overwhelming, choking, beautiful, and unnatural. You suddenly remember something your Thai language tutor once said, half jokingly. If you smell jasmine at night in the forest, don't follow it. That's not a flower. The road veers harder now, climbing. Outside, brief flashes of lightning show tangled trees, roots like skeletal hands gripping the edge of the mountain. Then just for a second, you see a figure standing in the road ahead. No one else reacts. No brakes. The driver keeps going. You scream out, but there's no impact. No sound. The figure just vanishes as the bus passes through the spot where it stood. That's the first time you consider that this might not be just a bus. The lights flicker, not violently, just enough to notice. When they return, the girl who had her mouth open is gone. Her seat is empty. You turn to the others, but no one has moved. No acknowledgement. You want to ask the driver, but when you try to speak, your voice doesn't come out. Your throat locks, like something inside this vehicle doesn't want you to break the silence. The rain grows louder, thicker. It's impossible to see now. The road winds endlessly. You feel like you've been on the bus for hours, but your phone shows only 20 minutes have passed. No signal. The battery ticks down fast, too fast. At the next bend, the bus pulls over. There's no stop. No shelter, just a gap in the trees and a small dirt path leading into the darkness. The woman with the basket stands. She walks slowly to the front and steps off. The door closes behind her. You try to watch where she goes, but she's immediately swallowed by the forest. One heartbeat later, the bus pulls away again. You know what you saw. She didn't take the basket with her. You run to the front despite every cell in your body screaming not to. The driver doesn't stop you, doesn't even look at you. The basket is on the seat. Inside, you recoil. It's filled with tiny bones, not animal. Human fingers, a jaw, tiny teeth. You stagger back, and for the first time, you hear something besides rain. Whispering, it's coming from the overhead vents. Low, wet, in a dialect you don't recognize, not Thai, not any language that belongs on this earth. You don't know how you know that, but you know. And then you notice something else. All the passengers are now looking at you, not moving, just their eyes all turned toward you in perfect unison. Your body floods with adrenaline. You rush to the back of the bus, desperate to get away to breathe. And there above the emergency exit door, etched into the metal frame, are words scratched by something sharp. Leave at the next stop or stay forever. You don't sit down, you stand gripping the pole, heart racing. Rain pounds harder like it's trying to bury the entire world. One more bend. The bus stops again. No village, no lights. just a lone wooden shrine half-collapsed, buried in lotus leaves. This time, the doors open and everyone stands. You freeze. Every passenger rises in slow, perfect unison, like dolls jerked by unseen strings. No one speaks, no one blinks. They file out one by one into the monsoon. The rain doesn't touch them. It parts around their bodies, leaving a dry shadow where there should be none. And still the driver never moves. His hands remain fixed on the wheel as if rooted into the plastic. His face slack, eyes forward, breathing absent. You don't know why, whether it's fear, instinct, or something else, but you step off the bus. The air outside slaps your skin like knives. The rain is warm, but it cuts. You squint through the sheets of water, watching the line of passengers slowly disappear into the tall lotus fields that surround the roadside. And then they're gone, not just hidden. Gone. Sound, movement, presence all erased. You look back. The bus door closes behind you. Then the vehicle reverses into the darkness. The lights flickering once more, and it vanishes without a sound. Not down the road, into it. You're alone now. The shrine ahead is barely holding itself together, sagging into the wet ground. It's built of wood too old for the jungle to ignore, covered in moss and offerings. Broken toys, incense sticks half-burned, bones threaded into garlands. An entire wall of faded photos stares at you, dozens of faces, children mostly, all water-damaged and smiling. But it's the eyes. Every one of them has the eyes scratched out. Lightning flashes again. In its harsh light, you notice the path behind the shrine, narrow, made of crushed shells and root veins, that leads through the field. You don't want to go. But the air behind you feels too still, too expectant. Like turning back would mean turning into something you wouldn't recognize in the mirror. You follow the path. The lotus field swallows you whole. The flowers are taller than you expected. 7 feet or more. You didn't know they could grow that high. And they hum. A low, constant vibration that starts in your ears and settles deep in your bones. You pass clusters of petals the color of dried blood, and some of the flowers seem wrong. Misshapen. They pulse ever so slightly as you walk by. Every so often you hear a splash nearby. But there's no wind, no frogs, just that low hum and the feeling that something waits just outside your vision. Then you see her. The girl from the bus, the one whose mouth was open. She's kneeling in the water, surrounded by blooming lotuses. Her eyes are closed. Her lips are moving fast, like she's whispering something over and over. You approach slowly, the water up to your shins now. You call her name not because you know it, but because something inside you does. She stops. Her eyes open, they are full of petals, and her mouth is stuffed with soaked red blossoms, pressed so deep she couldn't scream if she wanted to. She begins to cry. You stagger back, but she grabs your wrist. Her touch is freezing. She pulls you toward the edge of the field, toward something barely visible in the night. The roof of a half-submerged structure. You don't want to go. Every instinct tells you to run. But something stronger, an ancient compulsion like gravity made of whispers, draws you closer. The roof gives way to a sunken courtyard, and there beneath the floodwaters lies a shrine much older than the one by the road. It's carved into the earth, stone blocks bound with vine and bone. You see more photos lining the walls inside, hundreds of them. The same children, same eyes scratched out, but these ones are joined by adults. One of them looks like the woman with the basket. You step into the shrine and the hum ceases. Silence, not absence of sound, absence itself. The world fades behind you. All that remains is the dark chamber and the stone altar in the center. Upon it lies a manuscript, bound in lotus fiber, written in a mix of Thai and something more primal, older than Brahmic script. You don't understand the words, but you feel them. It tells the story of the rain-eaten. Those who vanished during monsoon nights in rural provinces, taken by the eeriest, spirits that walk backward, whisper through roots, and wear the faces of the missing. Some say they are the drowned souls of children sacrificed to ancient water gods. Others believe they are a punishment for forgotten shrines and broken pacts. Researchers still argue whether the eeriest ever existed, or if they are simply remnants of wartime trauma wrapped in folklore. But you've seen too much to believe in coincidence. A voice calls your name, not loudly, soft. Familiar, you turn and see someone standing in the doorway of the shrine, soaked, trembling with your face. It smiles just a bit too wide, and then it walks backward into the rain. You chase it, of course you do. Through the lotus, through the mud, slipping and clawing at vines and petals. You scream at it to stop. But every time you get close, it disappears. And when you finally break through the field, gasping, wet, bleeding from your knees, you're in a village, tiny, quiet, suspended in the storm. The houses are stilted, woven from palm and rusted tin. A few lanterns flicker in doorways. Shapes watch you from within, some of them human. You stumble forward, delirious, clutching the manuscript. An old man emerges from the largest hut, holding a clay bowl of smoking herbs. He doesn't speak, just places a hand on your chest and nods. He points to a house. Inside, a woman tends to a shrine filled with the same photos you saw before. When she sees you, she weeps. "I knew one would return," she says in Thai so old it bends time. You ask who she is, who you are. She never answers directly. But she tells you this. Once every 7 years, when the monsoon falls hardest and the path floods deepest, the bus returns. Not a machine, but a memory of one. A vessel for the forgotten. Passengers offered by towns that broke ancient contracts. Those who escape must stay. To remember, to rebuild the pact, to guard the path. She hands you a carved amulet shaped like an open eye surrounded by lotus petals. The hum returns, faint now, from deep in the earth. You look outside. The rain has stopped. But you know it won't last. The next bus will come again, and someone else will vanish beneath the midnight monsoon. The storm has passed now, but something in the air still tastes electric. The scent of lotus lingers, even though there are none around you. The village sleeps beneath stars veiled in cloud, and somewhere in the jungle, water drips in steady rhythm, like the ticking of a clock that no longer counts forward. You sit outside the old woman's hut, watching the road that doesn't exist on any map, the road that swallowed a bus and its passengers and returned something else in their place. You don't remember how long you've been here. Some days you forget there ever was a city or a reason for you to travel. You sweep the shrine. You burn the incense. You memorize the faces. You listen for footsteps in the mud that never quite reach your door. And on nights like this, when the clouds swell and thunder rumbles across the hills like a voice clearing its throat, you feel it stirring beneath your feet. The whisper roots, the unseen current. You wonder, was it luck that brought you off the bus? Or did something inside choose you? Some say the land has a memory, that it writes stories not with ink, but with footsteps, with silence, with loss. And once your story is written, it doesn't fade. The lotus fields bloom again this week. They always bloom just before the next one arrives. You light a lantern and hang it by the path, just in case. Because soon someone else will come seeking shelter, a ride, a reason, and you'll be waiting. The way she waited for you. Listen closely tonight wherever you are. If you hear humming in the dark, if the rain begins too suddenly, too violently, don't follow the jasmine. Don't board the bus, and if you already have, pray you never reach the shrine.